What is up, obscure mic people? XTUGA M8, third tries the charm. Gonna run it into the Tascam 1x2 HR. Got my faders set at Unity, ready to rock and roll with this $99 8-channel mixer. Gonna use the $25 dynamic build from a few videos ago. But let's take a look at the mixer. Here is the XTUGA M8 mixer. As you know, some of you have already seen this, some have not. 8 channels of professional mixing. It's not an audio interface, so it does not do computer stuff unless you run the outs into an interface like I have the right and left record outs into a Tascam 1x2 HR. And the coolest thing about this mixer right off the bat, in my opinion, are these really brightly lit green mute switches, which I can mute any of the 8 channels with. You do also have line inputs for instruments. You have your gain, which is called the trim on here. I do not have it quite all the way up, but I do have the fader all the way up there. And again, we've got the faders here set at Unity. And just like last time, it's not giving us a readout on the meters here. It did the very first time I used it and then never again. These outs here were very noisy the first time I used this device. We do have high EQ gain and low EQ adjustments, high and low adjustments. And we've got the effects send here. We can, choose how much of the effects make it into each channel. We've got a pan left and right. Again, got the sliders. They look kind of cheapish. They feel pretty cheapish. Nothing really overly fantastic about this mixer. It's $99 for 8 channels, so that's what you get. We've got a graphic EQ that will control the graphic EQ, I believe, of all 8 channels together. So if you're not getting enough out of the high and low, you can add more on top of that. Got a slider for the effects. So if we want the effects level to be loud, we can set that to Unity. Got a headphone jack here. It is a 1/4 inch, but of course you can adapt that with an adapter. Got the headphone volume level here. I'm not using the headphone amp on this currently. It's just not very powerful. So when I did have that set to max, it was adequate at best. Then we've got a USB input there to, jam MP3s and stuff. Do people do that anymore? I certainly don't. Anyways, using a dynamic microphone, this ran into an interface. The Tascam, the gain on it is set to about 55% just to get some decent levels. It is still somewhat noisy, in my opinion, not the quietest thing out there. But again, you're getting 8 channels for next to nothing. Let's play around with the EQ real quick. I can do the high and jack that way up if I want to get a brighter sound, which I don't on this mic, but the low, which is something I would like to do, jack that up just a little. That's maybe a little too much. There's a little, and then I can tame a little bit of that top end there by turning the high end down a little bit, just getting a little bit smoother level there if I want. I could also put that low at Unity, still get a little bit of a smoother, I guess, but we'll set those back. The DSP presets, if you watch the first attempt of this video, they are basically a lot of repeaters. So there's one of the repeaters, and another, and another, and another. And you can also make it repeat more, boom, 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 boom. You get the idea. You get the idea. You get the idea. You get the idea. You do. 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 Hello. 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 You do. You do. You do. I don't know. There's something a little different. Robot. Channel 1. Robot. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 3. 4. 5. 5. Hello. Hello. Ooh. Hello. 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 La. That sounds like Mega Man, like when he dies. Anyways, we're going to turn that off real quick. And yeah, that is the mixer in all of its glory. Graphic EQ can, again, change that a lot. That's actually very effective, more so than the dials in my opinion. And then I can still take the top end off quite a bit on this microphone if I want to. Let's see here. That's a little too much low end there. So there's the graphic EQ. Just kind of messing around with that a little bit. We'll go ahead and set that back. All right. I must say, one thing that I really like about this mixer is the fact that you do get 8 channels at such a low price. I like being able to adjust my EQ right on the board. That's a reason I really like mixers personally. I have confirmed all 8 channels work. Again, the level meter quit working after the first try. That's not exactly exuding confidence in this machine. It is an all-metal build, except for these sides. The handles are plastic. It's not like it's a piece of plastic junk. It is actually built okay. The fader switches and the EQ knobs look and feel a little cheap. And the USB port, of course, is a little lopsided. The headphones are a little bit off that input. But overall, for $99, I don't think it's bad. Again, you're going to have to run it into something if you want to digitize this. It's an analog mixer, but otherwise, if you're using it for live use or something like that, no one's going to hear the noise that much. So it's probably going to work pretty well for live use. So hard to hate on for $99. I think it's time to get to the BB SAR. The Phantom Power also does work. I confirmed in one of the earlier videos that didn't make the cut. We can go ahead and do that though. We can go ahead and run some Phantom Power and into the Asden microphone that I've been using a lot. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so now we're using the Asden SGM250H. Phantom Power is on. The level is now set at Unity. The gain is set at 50%. So we are able to get a pretty good level. Again, we are using 55% of the preamp in the Tascam 1x2HR. So take all this with a grain of salt. You're going to have to, add some gain. That way you're not maxing out the preamps of this thing. Add some gain with a secondary device that is a USB into a computer. Just if you want to use it for podcasting, broadcasting, YouTube, all that good stuff, you are going to need to give it a chain. It can't just be this if you want the cleanest available preamps this thing has to offer, which again aren't that super clean. They're fine. It's fine. It's $99. It's 8 channels. It'll do the job, especially if you're looking to do like a 3 to 8 person podcast and you do use RCA to XLR and do a cheap interface. Any interface will do because you don't need a lot of gain on that interface. You just need it to work. It doesn't even need Phantom Power for that matter. It just needs to work, and you just need to be able to provide some gain. You can piggyback this thing into any audio interface. Doesn't matter how weak the preamps are. That added bit of gain is going to make it all work and function okay for a podcast. So if you bought a TC Helicon Go Solo for $10, that's going to work perfectly fine with this machine, because you can just run it into the Helicon and then into your computer, a little bit of gain on the Helicon, and you're up and running. So 99 plus 10, 109, 8-person setup, not too shabby. And for that reason, on the BB SAR, I am going to give this device a score of a 6, slightly above average and worth the cost. The board itself may not be slightly above average. It's the 8 channels and the price that make it slightly above average, and the fact that you can just, trust me, you want to, pair it up with any audio interface to get good levels out of it. I think it's a solid buy, especially if you know you're ever going to have more than 4 people on a show or production. This is the cheapest way that I've seen to get up to 8. XTUGA, M8 is out of here. Bark is out of here. Thanks for watching this one yet again, or for the first time. I appreciate it. Secure mics. Peace out.